Good morning, folks. We're back and continuing with this Basilisk. And I want to preface this by saying, this has taken me a few days to do. A few days of working with it each morning. Normally, I would just pound straight through something like this and have it done pretty quickly. But I'm kind of cording off the work to be done, each morning. Since folks were asking, I got a lot of requests about rigging and approaching this. So that's why this is kind of turning into an ongoing thing, which I don't know how I feel about that. I feel it's kind of causing the what I'm doing with the channel here on YouTube to stagnate a little bit, and I don't like that. So after today on this, wherever I land today is where I'm going to land with it. And then I will probably finish it out off stream and do an overview, and either post a video of that overview or do one more session on stream for that overview. So as we get into this stuff, remember, if you like what I'm doing, you're watching the live streams and all that, remember to like and share all that grooviness. Let's see. I also want to make sure that I send out a link for this, which I don't think I did yet. So, yeah. Give me just a moment. Alright, so there we have. I've shared my link. If you guys dig this thing, remember, like and share and subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and jump in here, okay? So, let's go to Manga Studio. And let me just back my soundtrack down a little bit. There we go. So we're going to go to Manga Studio and load in the Basilisk rig that we had yesterday. Okay. And you'll see that this thing is segmented. And that's because it has the vertices unwelded all the way around it. So what I want to do from here is import my OBJ for the Basilisk that's actually the one I'm going to use. Remember I said earlier that I would be having one OBJ that is cut apart that I labeled rig mesh. Then there's my actual OBJ. And this one is going to be smooth because it never got cut apart. So if we look at it in comparison, you'll see we don't have those segmentations showing up. Okay, but it is an identical mesh with the exception of where groups are cut from it. So what I want to do now is go to my transfer utility, which you can find under edit, figure, and it's I think under rigging. I have a key command for it, so I'm going to select my Basilisk rig. I'm going to select the mesh for Basilisk. Then down here I'm going to replace source with target. Okay. And let's go in and just make this all one color. So we should see it nice and smooth across all of those. And my my skin weights are probably going to be pretty wonky. Yeah. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead and save this right now. There's a quick trick for navigating here. Just going to browse to there and select the path. Now I can in here and paste that path. So I'm going to call this Basilisk rig 2. And the reason I do this is I iterate through these names and I make sure that it gets named this way right here so that I don't lose that initial rig, and I keep iterated copies all the way through until I have my finished piece. So sometimes there may be 10 or 20 different versions of something show up in my library, but I do that because it's non-destructive that way. And then I have save points I can go back to, which have been invaluable so many times. And More often than not, if I forget to do that, I wish I had done it. So, let's go into our joint editor. And here you'll see all the joints are created with their origin points at roughly the starting point of those different groups. We may have to go in and manipulate some of these a little bit. Pardon me. But it shouldn't be that bad. And by having the prefixes on the names when we created those groups, the way I showed you, we can very quickly transfer all of our changes from one side to the other. Okay. Let's just move those down. It's interesting to me that it created those almost on the surface instead of dead center the way it usually does. I'm wondering if there isn't some kind of a problem there. Let's undo all that. I'm going to run a command in here with the joint editor where I right click, go to align and hit align all bones. Okay. Then I have key commands set up for turning on auto align and auto snap. So then I can come in and manipulate these like so, and it just makes my life so much easier. Okay. So right now, I just want to get everything aligned generally where I need it. Down this left side. Ugh. I'm really sleepy right now. I got up extra early today, guys. And kind of wish I hadn't, but I just couldn't sleep anymore, so I just went ahead and got up. Get these finger joints all worked in here. Does look as though our hierarchy worked out just fine. That's always nice. Okay. And I figured that front foot would probably be close to okay. We'll see. Okay. Now let's select the hip. Then I'm going to right click, go to edit, mirror joints, and change this from selected to selective recursive. Now you'll see all those joints snap into place. I'm going to right click, go to memorize figure rigging. Now let's go to our left view here. What these tail joints are looking like. They're not bad. Okay, I do want that hip joint to change quite a bit. Let's see, that might have... Okay, yeah, I didn't mess it joint up. So I might have messed that hip joint up when I moved it like that. So right now, I'm just just going to be moving each of these joints, abdomen and chest. And I'm turning off my snapping there. There we go. I just want my end snapping turned on. Okay. Actually, I want to resituate these closer to the center. That mesh. And then we're going to memorize the figure rigging. So there we have our joints all in place that we need. Now let's see what manipulates where. We're about to get into having to paint skin weights, so this is a good point to save rig 2. Okay. Let's start with the hip. Curious as to how clean my groups transferred into this. Perfectly, it looks like. Oh, that's so handy. So handy. So then I should be able to, this is a neat little trick. If I go into my weight map tool, go to weight editing, I can hit fill by bone selection groups. So now it is filling the weight on the mesh there to whatever the bone is that it's associated with. So then I'll expand my selection a little bit and right click and hit smooth. And I'm just going to go ahead and expand my selection way on out here. Grab the next joint, smooth selected. This might take it a minute. I'm surprised that's taken so long. It may be crashing. May already be hitting one of those points where having those iterated saves is a good thing. There we go. That finally finished chugging its way through there. So now let's see what we have as far as weights. Much better. Much better. And these come out much better. Boy, that's really nice. Really nice to have that work that well, that quick. So we might need to alter some rotations here. I can see that I really want this to rotate a little differently. I'm going to see if I can get it to alter based on where I pull that to, but I'm doubting that will. if you watch the bounding box around an object, that can give you a lot of good feedback as to your joint rotations and your orientation. We can always restore the selected node, which I'm going to do right now. Okay, let's rotate that to there. And now see what we get. Aha, there we go. There we go. Yeah, rotation order is a big deal, and the orientation of joints is a huge, huge deal. So now, there we go. I want my X rotation on that to be what gets the bending. So I'm going to mirror that across and then memorize my figure rigging. And then I'm going to plug in something close to those numbers in the rotations here. Oh, pardon me, guys. I'm yawning a lot here, but it is what it is. So let's mirror those joints and then memorize that. This one might be tricky. Pardon me. YZX. Yep. So this one's being a little weird. Much better. Let's mirror our joints all the way across. See if there's any discrepancies. Looks like everything's going across just fine. So then we're going to memorize all of our figure rigging. Alright. Interesting. Yeah, it's late in the week, so we usually... I've noticed later in the week usually has less people in the chat, so that's perfectly fine. if we don't have a super active chat today, then I may take it as a sign that I can end the stream a little bit early for once, which would be super cool for me because I have a very busy day ahead of me. So, take a look at this jaw. Really like that. Okay, and we're going to save over rig 2 one more time, and then our next save is going to become rig 3. So now from here, I'm hoping, actually I want to reload the figure before I start working with it again. That way DS has a chance to reread all the geometry definitions in. Because I want to come in and start working with skin weights, and I want to do it symmetrically. And it looks to be, oh, that's such a nice thing to see. A lot of times the symmetry ends up coming out broken. Even though I know the meshes are symmetrical, it's amazing how often symmetry does not want to work. And it's always very sad for me when that happens. Yeah, this guy is going quite well. That's doing some interesting stuff. Why is my chest? See, here we go. Here we're running into some weird symmetry problems. Because this chest is wanting to act weird. Yep. Yeah, I was afraid of that. I was very, very afraid of that. That's okay. I can run with it. Might need to prune some skin weights here in a minute. And this kind of thing is why having iterated saves is a really good idea. Okay, now then, let's run smooth command on that. And since I have symmetry turned on over here, after that smoothing command runs, it'll try to run a symmetry command again. It's still working on that. So let's give that a minute. What you're seeing right here is the nuts and bolts of skin weights, which is pretty crucial. You have to have good skin weights on creatures to make them work. Skin weights are essentially what's happening when you're taking a vertex and you're giving it a numerical value that weights it, binds it to a bone. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to call this one Basilisk Rig 3. So we have an iterated save. I am also now going to add subdivision. Oh, let's look at my object origin too. We always want that to be zeros. There we go. And there we've added some subdivision to it. Let's save that. So there, I'm just checking symmetry. Everything's working out fine there. It's a little bloopy right now, but that is very fixable. So I'm going to turn on. Interesting. Interesting that my very odd. Let's reload this figure and see if that resituates its symmetry. I wonder if it just doesn't like that I have that I added that morph on top of it now. Well, here's where I want to go. Okay. So now, as I'm painting, if I'm painting skin weights with symmetry on, then it should update across the mesh. It doesn't always, which is really aggravating, but it should. It seems to be. So there, you can see we've used those skin weights to paint the volume back in when those legs are going to bend. Let's go in and add our HD shape. Okay, and that should work out just fine. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to backtrack through some things and we'll see. But this should work, should transfer to HD level 4 and give us a nice HD mesh sitting on top of this rig. It was like 11 million polygons though, so we got to give it a second. While that's running. Doesn't look like we have anybody in the chat today, so that's fine. Okay. Looks like this is still loading. It may take it a while. Let's just bear with it. There we go. HD4. Created morph successfully. Okay, so now let's turn that up. And there you can see we have our final shape on top of this. I'm going to set my minimum on it to 100. Max to 100. That way it's a lamp. Then actor slash HD shape. Now let's see what that looks like when it moves. Nice. Whew. Oh, I cannot stop yawning today. I am so sorry. Definitely tell when it's getting late in the week. Yeah, so I'm really digging the way this guy's looking. Very cool. All right, let's save that. Oh, I just needed a refresh. Okay, yeah, we did have some people over in the chat. We got Heinzie, Overboard, Gina. Cool. Hey, guys. Weird. Heinzie says, weird weight maps and the unsolved mysteries of rigging. Overboard just got home from working overnight, putting together some Reaper Bones minis. Reaper Bones got some cool stuff going on. Heinzie says, I may need extra strong coffee today, too. Yeah, no joke. No joke. Oh. Alright. So, it will take this a minute to save, since it is saving out with that HD geometry added on. I'm going to come back over and pop back into a headshot and just talk for a little bit before we close it up. I know today is particularly quick. I usually run over, but today I think we're gonna cut it a little bit early. I am dragging so hard. I'm sitting here yawning and stuff, and it's just rough. Also, my allergies are really killing me, so I'm like having trouble breathing, and that's making it harder. It's just really, really wicked. But let's see. Is there anything I hadn't shown you guys yet? Let's see. Ran some new bugbears the other day. Those came out pretty nice. And we have, let's see. Oh. Ooh, careful. This guy might show up better on camera now since he's been primed. So, I'm really big on zenithal highlights and priming using zenithal highlights. So I'll like prime in black and then do zenithal white from the top down. And I feel like that really brings out a lot of details early. Makes it very easy to pick and choose what we're going to paint on. So, there's that guy. Really looking forward to getting some of this work off my plate so I can have time to step back in and finish this fella up. So, we've got some conventions coming up. I'm still not sure which ones we're going to be doing, but we're going to be doing some in the last quarter of the year, definitely. Maybe even before the last quarter of the year. Watch me knock that guy off. It's the upshot of printing them myself. If I break one, I'll just print a new one. So, it's looking like, I believe we're going to be in Miami, probably in September. Don't quote me on that just yet. trying to make a final decision on it. But we've got an opportunity to be at SuperCon in Miami in September, and then I'm not sure if it's going to be. There might be an opportunity for us to be back in New Orleans in December, and that would be awesome because I would love to go back to New Orleans. So we shall see what's up with all of that. Let's see, this finally gets saved. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this big guy finally saved out. I'm half tempted here. I'll have to do a little smoothing back over those eyeballs because I can see that came out kind of funky. But that's easy enough to fix. Let's come in here and see if we have. I want to double check my materials on this. Make sure that I had those right inside inside Maya, which it looks like I do. So let's go through and name these. Oh, almost forgot. Let's go through and name each of these. Okay. And I am curious to see how this guy is going to look once we get some textures on him. So let's come in, start with the body. Just grab everything at once so we get some materials plugged in, and then we can just replace them as needed. Okay, so let's start with the body. Cool. And do we have metallicity on here? No, we do not, and we don't need it, and I'm happy about that. So let's go to our glossy layer weight. I'm going to crank that up. Go grab my glossy roughness. Turn that up about halfway. Let's go grab our base bump. And I set that a little on the high side, but that's just me. And then our normal. Alright, so now I can go through each of these and just replace the maps. There we go. And I don't have maps on here for the eyes just yet, so I'm just going to turn those all off. Oop, wrong. There we go. Of course, this will need a lot more tweaking done on the actual materials, but this will get the maps plugged in. And then we can also look at this with some subdivision turned up. So if I hold Control and click on two different surfaces listed here at once, then I can come in and start working with some different things here and keep it the same across both. So I'm just looking to see where we might have some tweaking to do. Adding just a little bit of Translucency can do quite a bit. And I feel good about that for now. It's a good place to stop with it. So I'm going to save this one more time. Overboard says, wow, that's nice. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. INZ asks, is that four-armed red fellow going to get rigged for Daz? I'm not sure which four-armed red fellow you're talking about. If you're talking about out of my back catalog, there's a creature called Sledge, who I have a build of it for Daz Studio. I just haven't taken it to Daz yet. Might be something for me to think about. Overboard says he's pretty close to New Orleans. Well, you know, if you're close to New Orleans and we make it down there for a show or something, we'll have to catch up, man. So let's see. And that's still saving. Whenever you have the HD stuff on these, it takes a while to save. So I may end up stripping that out so that I can work on everything faster. But I just wanted to put that on there so you guys could see it and so I could double check it and make sure it was going to work. All right. Well, like I said, I am actually going to close today up a little bit early so that I can basically go medicate myself for my allergies and get onto some of the things that I have to do today, because it is a crazy, crazy busy week around here. So much stuff that needs to be wrapped up. I've got a painting due. I've got clothing pieces due for different stuff and different kits due, and it's like, oh my god, it's good problems to have. Good problems to have, but you know, if something has to get short shrift every once in a while. Unfortunately, right now it's probably going to be the stream. So this morning we are going to cut it a little bit short, and there is a chance I may actually not do the stream tomorrow. If I decide not to, I'll post and share across social media about it. So, but in the interim, I hope you guys are digging this. I hope watching some of this rigging stuff go on is sparking some ideas and helping you guys learn a few things. I know it's a hot subject, and it's something that I'm probably going to come back and touch on in much more depth in the future. So anyway, I am out. Remember, as always, like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching, be sure to hit the like and the bell, because that helps boost the YouTube algorithm. And while I'm not really pushing to like do the YouTube thing and all that kind of stuff, I do want to see views and views go up and the channel grow, because the channel growing will help, you know, just helps build the awareness of my work and just helps everything. So, you know, that's a lot of why we're doing this. Let's try to get the word out there. So anyway, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, go to 6s1.com, sign up for the newsletter. Till tomorrow, tentatively. I'll see you guys later. I'm out.